Dear colleagues, we will speak about the reforms in our economy and about ways how to get more money to through the budget, through liquidation of corruption schemes. And right ahead of this organization, Oleg Honcharenko. This organization is called the Government of the Second Opinion. Good afternoon, dear journalists. Thank you very much that you found time to come to this presentation. Today we'll talk about how we should liquidate corruption schemes in Ukraine. But first of all, about our organization, and then a little bit about the state of Ukraine everybody knows about, and then we'll give analysis what we see as the first steps to save economy of Ukraine. So, who are we? We, like-minded people, we got united into the initiative of partial government. Now that is the process of evolution from NGO. We became more like a think tank to make our experience useful for Ukraine. Secondly, we have professionals in different parts of economy. And secondly, it's important that we are united around our values. We studied in Ukraine and abroad, and would like to put our experience into the benefit. We would like it to be beneficial for Ukraine. What will we do? First of all, we develop detailed analysis and plan on what is happening in Ukraine. On the basis of that analysis, the second stage is to develop the action plan. And thirdly, we'll present that action plan in a language which is understandable for all. Why? We would like to establish standards of control over the state management. We would like to develop criteria according to which every citizen could understand what is happening in the country. Thirdly, we would like to do that. How we will present that? We speak about a common language. How will we do that? We have a lot of consultants in our team who have experience and work in different industries, and that experience will allow to analyze problems. We have advanced techniques of analysis, and our experience can help in key fields of our economy. And the last is we need to put it into common language. We need there should be communication between the state and the common people, and which doesn't exist. Let's speak about economy of Ukraine. Unfortunately, these numbers show the GDP of Ukraine is fallen. I'd like to underline that numbers in US dollars. Why? Because a dollar is a comparison of our economy compared to other economies of the world, and in a year and a half, our economy reduced by 3 times. We came to the level of 2000. I don't want to remind you how people lived at that time. And the most important for us to return to the level of 2013, we need about 5 years to pass this road of growth of our economy. Inflation. Everybody knows that inflation in Ukraine went far away from those numbers the government is talking about. And as Bloomberg says, inflation in Ukraine is at 270%. So we analyzed 4 main categories. Medicine went up by 2 times, food 2 times, municipal fees 50%, and it's a beginning. It will be more than 2 times. And the same with fuel. It's inflation is about on the level of 100%. What is happening? What to do? Real income of the population reduced by 2 folds, and this is the analysis of the inflation we are talking about. And here's the question: what should be done in Ukraine to overcome this crisis? We did some analysis. Where to get money? In Ukraine, as you know, last year they used about 40 billion of cubic meters of gas. Half of that is produced in Ukraine. But what is happening with to gas, which is produced in Ukraine? That gas is sold, and there's a special price, and there is a corruption component. Look at the slide, which is about 150 billion hryvnia. And that money goes to pockets of oligarchs. What we developed is that money should not go to pockets of 10 people in the country, but should go to the needs of our pensioners. And we have 13 million of them, and the average pension is 1,500. And our goal is to raise that pension by up to the level of 2,500. And you know where to get. You see where to get money. Why should we give a raise in pension? It's not so all the people know. It's to launch the economy. For a pensioner to survive, they need at least 1,000 for food, 600 for municipal fees, and about 450 hryvnia for medicine. And we get the sum, which is more than 2,000 hryvnia. That's minimum a pensioner should get. And our proposal is to raise the pension up to 2.4 thousand hryvnia. That will allow people not only to overcome the crisis, but it will allow to make the economy work. What if we don't do that? Pensioners will not be able to pay the fees, municipal fees. All municipal companies will stop and will have a collapse. Collapse on non-payments we had in 1990s, and that should be stopped. But even that compensation, it's only 30% of lost income of the population. 15, there is compensation for the following years and when the economy starts working. Now let's approach one more treasury we found in Ukraine, the customs service. We were shocked by numbers, because when we started to analyze how much Ukraine loses on the custom, the number was, just think about, 300 billion hryvnia. How did we get to that number? To the budget of Ukraine. In the budget of Ukraine, there's 120 billion hryvnia from the tax, added value tax from imported goods. As we analyze, only a third of goods come to Ukraine in an honest fashion. It says that there is a potential for 240 billion hryvnia, which goes through corruption schemes. And then one more component, direct corruption, those bribes at the customs. Our proposal is not a new. That was done in Indonesia and Bulgaria to liquidate and to give custom administration to our foreign partners, the US, Switzerland, Germany, people who, without corruption, they can build a system in a year and a half. Will develop a system, will be clean. In that period, we will grow people who will be new, like it happened in Georgia in the police, and what we hope to happen in our police also. Other corruption components we have in the infrastructure of Zheleznytsia, Avtodor. There's a problem with the deregulation, which doesn't move, and there is a great potential to reduce expenditures and to reduce bribes, and also reform all the state apparatus. We need to make efficient our state apparatus. We should start from the top. We have 450 MPs, 430 without Crimea. We don't need that. 150 deputies maximum will allow to give a raise to deputies to reduce corruption, and from that level coming down, we will save many billions hryvnia and will make efficiency better. It will allow to economy to work better, and also the government will work better. Our proposals, as I told at the beginning, our main goal is not only just to state problems, but to develop concrete action plan, which will allow to overcome those problems. In Ukrzheleznytsia, we should create a competition. From my experience, I know that 5 years there is a strategy for Ukrainian railroads. We need to do the steps, but they do them, but slow. There should be market tariffs for all participants of the market, because we have special people, oligarchs. They have special tariffs, and our state enterprise doesn't get billions of hryvnia every year just because they donate, subsidize their expenditures, and that means from our pockets.
Ukravtador, everything is very easy there. There's a group that has been initiated by leading experts in this field, and Ukravtador is to be liquidated. We need to leave the National Department of Planning, national roads. The local roads are to be given to local authorities, and then the tax which we receive from fuel will allow us to get a good level of roads, and in 10-15 years we will be able to develop our transportation sector. The reforms of state apparatus. Here we need to reduce the to reduce the costs, and this will allow us to save up to 15 billion hryvnias. Deregulation. The laws which are in parliament are not all of them. The law on simplification of business can operate very efficiently, and it will reduce bribery, because our entrepreneurs spend 20-30 billion for bribes, and that is what's related to deregulation. And there are three ways of distribution of additional revenues. 500 billion that we found, we understand. First, they should go to increase pensions. Second, social standards for less protected people, 3 million who receive low salaries and disabled, and 300 billion to support economy, innovation economy, IT sector, infrastructure, economic sector, and this will allow us all to move forward. What's next? We will in the future analyze all the spheres of economy, and in the future you will see the analytical information that we make our proposals on development of IT sector, and all these spheres, all these sectors are to be presented to public. Only this way we can promote these changes in the country, because the revolution of dignity has not been completed. The system has opposed it, and the system is to be changed. Thank you. Any questions? Business newspaper, you said 270% inflation. Is it for the year? Yes, 2014.
Дарина Чорноусова, Українське кризове.
UCMC, have you presented your idea to some government officials? You are suggesting to reload Ukraine, and what is to be done for that? Thank you for your question. That was our question when we got united into initiative. We see some changes within this year. People with foreign education, with professional experience are in the government, but there are not enough of them. Our next step is to continue pressure, and our today's presentation is the first step so that we are heard.
Ви знаєте, у нас є
We have contacts at different levels, and we will give that information to them, because without their involvement into the process, nothing will happen. What you are saying about things that are to be done, but the existing organizations like Vox Ukraine and PRP are working on the same issues. How is your organization different from those? Are you different in quantity, in quality? You are just like reading our brains. So why we should be making these steps? So how are we different? First of all, we are focusing our attention on the problem existing in the state. The gas tariffs are to be increased, they are to be increased, but now there's a social tension in the country which can lead to bigger catastrophe. Then, what is unique, we want to get this process united. We want to explain what is to be done. Now there are initiatives which talk about that, but they talk the language that people do not understand. And our task is to allow people understand what will be happening. We are happy that there are different initiatives and we cooperate with them so that our influence, the influence of civil society is much bigger. You mentioned one initiative, quite radical, to have the senior management of the customs office from some different state. Are there any other organizations that support your ideas? Let me mention 3 ideas. Customs office is probably the most radical. We see 300 billion there. Second is Ukrzaliznytsia reform is to be implemented, which is going on, but it's slow. And liquidation of Ukravtodor. We've been telling that for 10 years. It should be done quickly and it will not lead to any losses. And fourth, liquidation of many extra functions like sanitary epidemic station, which gives permits to how feed people. In the world, it's very simple. You want to open the business, you open cafe as a small entrepreneur. That's your responsibility to have your food corresponding to the standards. It's not like someone comes to you and says where the refrigerator should be. But basically there are instruments now for the public to be to have instruments of influence. We have the National Council of Reforms and they announced the competition for project managers. I know the term of application has expired. Have you applied to these positions? We are actively cooperating with the authorities and we are providing our ideas, and many people from professional government are there. Talking about changes, they are to be initiated from the above, and we see that all the steps, which steps should be mostly efficient. Will the members of your organization try to head some parts in the project Office of Reforms? If we are offered the position which can influence changes, we will consider this proposal if it allows us to implement the ideas which we present. And the last question. You know that the draft law on civil service has been submitted to the parliament, and many people are waiting till when this draft law is approved. Do you support this initiative? Thank you for your question. We support all the initiatives which change the situation in Ukraine positively. This law will make our civil servants from those who could potentially be corruptionists into professional experts, and that's our main objective. Thank you. I hope that the experts and participants of your organization will join the discussion I hope to see them here at UCMC.